Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Minecraft update video. It is Snapshot 21w18a, and this is a smaller one with a couple of changes and bug fixes which we are going to breeze through and then check out the changes to 1.18 as there is another data pack to investigate. So let's start off with a change to the infested blocks of all variety. So I'm going to put down a couple of each here. You can see we've got regular cobble, regular deep slate, and then the infested variants. The change here is that they're not going to instantly turn into silverfish. So when I break this, you can see that's a regular one, and the break time is now going to be twice as long for the block type. So there you go. Get rid of you. Takes twice as long. Now obviously cobblestone is a little quicker to break. In fact, regular stone is probably a better example because this breaks quicker, and therefore this breaking at twice the speed is still a fair bit quicker. And so for comparison, here's how it used to work. The block speed would simply just be instant. And that, I think, makes it a little less punishing overall, because now, of course, you get to see the block slowly break. There are quite a few changes to goats in this snapshot. However, they're mostly small things like their walking animation and other little details that needed tweaking before release. The main change is to the screaming goat now. These ones over here that are all ramming the armor stands, those are screaming goats that I've summoned in. And the change is that these are more likely to ram, and based on my observations from them ramming in the past, I'd say it's got to be at least double. These seem very keen on ramming things that are nearby. And another one of those changes is with baby goats. They will now follow the parent, as you saw there. Look, they're sticking close by. That is a behavior that most babies share with the adult that they are spawned from. I've been watching these goats for a while now, and like that, you'll see one jump on an occasion. But these ones right here, they're not jumping at all, and that's because a change has been made. If they are on top of honey blocks, they will no longer be able to use their giant jump. I should also note that the new marker feature and invisible armor stands could actually be targeted by the goat. They weren't the only mob to do that, but also the zoglin and pufferfish could interact with them as well. So those have been changed, they're no longer going to do that. And last of all, when it comes to goats, there's still no sign of the horn, which has appeared in Bedrock, so hopefully we'll see that in a future snapshot. Now, if like me, you've played a lot of this game and you've been using anvils, if ever you've got a damaged anvil that's about to break and you rename an item, when you have successfully renamed it, the anvil would break and then your item would get thrown on the ground. So I'm going to rename this a bunch of times until I see the fix that has been implemented. Okay, and there it goes. It just, pops back down into inventory down here. Okay, this next change is to the spore blossom. It can no longer be surrounded by water. Water will now pop it off because it can't be waterlogged, and therefore you could use it to breathe underwater. So the change here is that you're not going to be able to have water around a spore blossom. Deep slate ore blocks used to have the same color as the regular ore blocks on a map, which is the same color as stone. Now you can see they have a darker shade. And with the inclusion of a new gold block, the piglins are actually overlooked with this. As you can see, they'll now be attracted to the raw gold. And also, if you were therefore to break the raw gold in survival nearby, that would anger the piglins. And something I missed from last week's snapshot, the wither is going to be immune to the freezing effect that you get when you go inside of powdered snow. Keeping a wither inside of that, though, probably not something that's going to happen too often, but it will be immune to its damage. And that's all of the 1.17 stuff, so now we get to move on to the 1.18 data pack, which shows us how they're changing the world generation. We got another ore distribution image right here, and between this one and the last one, okay, that's the last one, this is today's one, there obviously isn't a lot of change. Over here on the side they've added some clarification. Reduced air exposure is when an ore block is about to be placed. If it is exposed to air, then it has a certain chance of being skipped. The other change between this snapshot and the last one where we had this image is the iron ore down here. There's now this distribution going higher than the previous distribution on the side. So it means in this area, you're going to find tons more iron ore in the world. So, like last time, we're going to investigate some of these changes. And I'm using the data pack again to show us all of the ore veins below. This is fantastic. So first of all, there are two changes here listed which don't show up in the image that we saw a moment ago. Supposedly, the generation of copper and iron has been reduced slightly to compensate for these ore veins that we see around the world here. And large ore veins are supposed to be rarer, and I gotta say, in this large space that I've cleared out, I haven't really noticed one that stretches on a long way. It feels like when you spot an ore vein, they tend to be a lot smaller now. And supposedly your chances of getting one of the raw ore blocks inside these veins has been increased. However, flying around trying to spot one, yeah, I've not had much luck so far. So in other generation changes, last snapshot we saw the introduction of the Noodle caves. These have been changed so that they will be a little larger in size and always traversable. You can see we've got one right here. It does actually get cut off, but overall you'll see less of those really slim ones that are just a couple of blocks wide. They're also supposed to no longer generate above Y30, which is the height I'm at right now, and this one right here does indeed look like a noodle cave to me, but supposedly they're just generating at Y30 and below. Now around Y0, where the transition between stone and deep slate takes places, there were blobs of deep slate that could be found above Y0, and that's been removed, which I don't think is a great decision. It kind of helped with the sort of shift to the deep slate that you'd find down below, but yeah, those blobs are no longer generating. And last of all, cave carvers will now generate below Y0 if there is an ocean biome above. I guess this has got something to do with it cutting into the ocean and then probably flooding a lot of the cave down below. So that's a change to just underneath the ocean biomes. And as I was editing this video, one of the developers, Henrik, shared with us a video of their own giving us a real insight into the changes with the large ore veins in this snapshot. And this is even better than anything we've seen before, because in the past all we saw were screenshots, I believe. Now we have some footage of Henrik flying through the world, and obviously this is a custom thing that they've built where it shows us where the ore veins will generate. And now you can see they're going to vary in size a lot. A couple of small ones here. We'll see in the video that there are some rather large clusters of these ore veins as well. There's a big one over there on the left, and this gives you a real idea of what they're going to be like in the game. Unfortunately, the kind of methods that I use to try and get a sense of this doesn't really show us in it in the same light. So of course we really appreciate this. And look at that one. That's absolutely massive. You would spend a long time mining out all of that stuff. Now if you appreciate Henrik showing us that, be sure to head over to his channel, leave a like on the video. It'll be linked in the description box below, because here I am showing off all of the good stuff, right? And we appreciate the Mojang devs doing this, so be sure to go and check out the video after you've watched this one. But that's it, my friends. Short and sweet. Obviously with less changes we are getting closer to a release, and if you've enjoyed this video be sure to leave a like, and I encourage you to subscribe, as the next video you'll see on this channel I believe is going to be my 1000th episode of Hermitcraft. What a milestone. I encourage all of you to stick around and be sure to catch that one when it is released on Monday. Anyway, that's it from me. Hopefully I'll see you next week with another one. Ciao for now. Bye bye.